Hey, what is going on, everybody? Boilon here, back for another video on Raid Shadow Legends. Today is the day because we have the fusion event for KROZ WALLBREAKER that we are going to be discussing here in today's video. Now, I think he's a little bit controversial because not everyone is going to want him. Not everyone is going to need him. Now, I am going to be going for him because my Ogryn Tribes faction is pretty weak. I'm going to be discussing what my plans are for the fusion and what you could do, whether or not this is something that you need as a new player, a mid-game player, or if there are any late-game players watching this. We'll be discussing that here today as well. So before we get started with the rest of the video, I do want to remind people that if you haven't started Raid yet, or you want to make a new account, then use this great link. Use the QR code in the top right or in the link below to get the recently reworked Narma the Returned, absolutely amazing time, by the way, Ugo, Tagore, and my favorite, Deacon Armstrong, at accounts level 15, 30, and 40. And you can also use the promo code Demon Slayer to get Tholand Foulbeard absolutely free within the first 48 hours of a brand new account. Okay, so let's get talking about KROZ, right? So he is a bomber champion, right? I haven't actually discussed him here on the channel, which is why we're just going to do a brief overview of what he does. He has some AoE damage. He detonates bombs. He has a block active skills, actually, which isn't bad for wave content. He places bombs. But I heard that his ratios, like basically his damage, is not as high as one of the other bombers, Nishak, another legendary character who was a fusion event as well. He does also place some stuns on his A1. He also gives turn meter for allies when bombs in general detonate. I guess if you happen to use other bombers other than him. But the consensus is that his damage scaling is not as high as they were hoping. The content creators more broadly in the Plarium CC program were hoping. And so his damage is not as high as they would want. That being said, fragment fusions tend to be some of the easiest ones to do. Because of how you're able to do this. And also, if you're interested in light spending, you can actually buy fragments, the missing fragments after the fusion ends for you to be able to kind of buy what you need. And I'm going to talk about that. That's kind of a little bit of a strategy that I'm thinking about doing for KROZ, because I don't really want to blow a lot of my shards for the existing summon events, because you have to clear Summon Rush and sometimes Champion Chase to be able to do fusion events. I don't know if on the back of Leo, right, Leonardo, I'm in an okay position, but I don't know if I want to do it for him. But I do still kind of want him, so we're going to talk about that. So some of the events that are starting here today, you can see this in the windows, right? We have the Fire Night tournament, which is, as of recording anyways, already started. Champion training is going to be starting very, very soon. And then in the events section, I got some freebies from the update. You also have Gear Hunters, which will be starting momentarily or already started by the time you watch this. Summon Rush tomorrow, Gear Enhancement tomorrow. Now, the calendar is out. So this is what I actually would like about this one, is that the Gear Hunters is starting at the same time as the Fire Knights and Champion Training. So you can kind of blow all of it. You don't have to really wait, right? You can double, triple dip here, double dip your Fire Knights with the Gear Hunters, double dip the Champion Training if you're going to do any energy grinding or anything like that. With the, chapter 12, you get the item drops. That's going to count towards it as well. So a lot of that's going to help. Let's go on over to the actual calendar, though. So this is the fragment event calendar from now until December 3rd. So that's going to be about 2 weeks. Or just under 2 weeks, I suppose. So we're here at the beginning, right? So Fire Knights Tournament, Champion Training is going to actually include additional fragments, but only if you're in the top of the leaderboard, right? So that's probably not going to happen for 99% of us. There's going to be a classic arena on Saturday. We have Gear Hunters starting today, Summon Rush and Gear Enhancement starting tomorrow. So for the next 2 days, basically, we have this. But Summon Rush will allow you to get, and I want to zoom in on that, up to 15 additional fragments instead of 5, right? Most events are 5. But Summon Rush is going to give you 15. So there's going to be a total. Can I close my cam box here in the corner? So there is a total of 130 available. I'm just going to scratch out the leaderboard, though, because realistically, like, you're probably not going to get this. And then you're going to get 15 from Champion Chase, 15 for Summon Rush. So if you take away the leaderboard stuff, you only have a wiggle room of 10 fragments. Now, typically, that's going to come from the summon related ones. Like if you push really hard on Summon Rush, then you only need to do 5 out of the 15 fragments for champion chase, but you still kind of have to do both. Now, here's the thing. Because there's that wiggle room, that means, let's say, hypothetically, if I did not do Summon Rush or Champion Chase, I would be down 20 fragments. If I did everything else, I would be down a total of 20 fragments because there is that wiggle room of 10. So you can buy, as far as I'm aware, I think it's for $10 US for 5 fragments. I'm pretty sure that's the cost that you can buy this. For me, I don't really. I like him, but not enough. Like I would rate him like a 3.5 out of 5. Like he's a good champion, but he's not like amazing. Like he's not some of the other ones we had this year, like Tholen Falbeard, Donnie, Fabian, right? So he's not any of these, but I think that he is still worth going for, depending on if you need him or not. And I kind of want him for more faction-based content, for Ogren tribes, for Cursed City, these kinds of things where he does fill a little bit of a gap that I need. But if you have other characters that can do this stuff, then it's probably very much a skip for you. As far as some of the other, and I have no problems doing most of these events, right? Classic Arena is super easy. The only kind of pain in the ass is Gear Hunters, but like probably Gear Hunters 2. I don't know if there's that much overlap. There's like a little bit of Dragon Tournament overlaps on the week early next week, and then Ice Golem Tournament will overlap. Actually, I'm not even sure if it will. It looks like it kind of ends around the same time, so that might be very tough. So for Gear Hunters 2, there's a champion training event actually down here, so that will overlap. So Dragon Tournament and champion training, this will overlap towards the back end of Gear Hunters 2, but there is a Gear Hunters 3. So this champion training event is actually going to be overlapping 2 different Gear Hunters events. This is for 5 fragments. This is the biggest pain in the ass, in my opinion, is going to be Gear Hunters, because you have to spend a lot more energy to clear those events. Normally, you're well done with the tournaments before you're finished Gear Hunters, which means that you end up having to spend more energy just to clear that. For me, that usually ends up being Spider 10, honestly, like hard Spider 10 or anything that you can clear fast that has a decent drop rate. For me, when you're in that sort of further mid game where you can clear any of the hard spider dungeons, this is usually a lot faster when it comes to your clear time. So this is normally what I would farm just to get drops for Gear Hunters, just to finish the rest of it. So that's just something that I would note there if you're wondering what to do on Gear Hunters, if you need to fill in the gap there. As far as this, like I said, it's pretty typical. This is very typical of a fusion event, or a fragment fusion event in general, in terms of where the distribution of the fragments are. So I think, unless the thresholds are very low, maybe I might do some summoning on the Champion Chase tournament, and then I won't need to spend as much money, right? I'll only, if I do the one event, then I'll only be out like 5 fragments, and so it'll be a little bit easier. But I think almost everyone is kind of like shard broke. Now, I'm not as shard broke because I've got super lucky. Also, I hit account level 87, and I did end up buying a Sacred Shard offer for, I think it was 5 or 6 Sacred Shards, so I did buy that. So after Leonardo, I'm back up to 16 Sacreds, and I have never summoned my Primal Shards. I'm kind of hoping that there's going to be some sort of Black Friday Primal 2X event for Mythicals. We'll see if that ends up materializing or not. So there could be reasons where, or situations where I might summon. Not for tomorrow, I really don't think so. Not only am I not close enough on Mystery Shards to make a dent, really, I really don't want to spend any of my shards just now. Void Shards on Summon Rush is kind of a bit of a waste. It's better to do on Champion Chase. So I think tomorrow for me is going to be a skip, but I am going to be finishing off the event by spending money. So I don't know how much that's going to be, but I will fill in if I end up doing Champion Chase, then that's not as much that I'll have to spend. Maybe I just need to spend $10 or $20 to finish it off, like when the fragments become available to purchase. But I'm not really too keen on blowing my my Sacred Shards or anything like that for Summon Rush that starts tomorrow. So yes, he's an okay champ. He's not one of the best of the year as far as that, and I kind of have this feeling that things are going to get better soon, right? As we move, we talked about, we also talked about like that video a couple days ago where I talked about upcoming collabs. I really think that like in December and January and this kind of thing that we're going to get something pretty big, and I want to make sure that I have my resources available to do that, right? When it comes to path events, Deck of Fates events, things like this, or path events with shards, right? You need to blow a lot because you want to get these big things, whether they're 5 reds or guaranteed champions. that kind of thing. So I'm just waiting for a little bit better stuff, which I think is going to materialize come December. And the December fusion could be very good this year as well. We'll find out, but most likely there seems to be like this kind of like not so amazing fusion, and then there ends up being an even better fusion later. I feel that that's kind of what Plarium does a lot. That there's kind of like a quote unquote skippable one, and then they have a really amazing one, or they try to FOMO you into going into that. So this is really going to be up to you, I think, and whether or not this provides you something for your account, for your roster that you want to do. I think for a lot of people, this is going to be a skip. However, I am going to try to weasel my way through this by maybe spending a little bit of money to make up the difference. That's just my thoughts. Let me know what yours are in the comments down below. Before we go, I do want to remind people that if you haven't started playing Raid yet, what are you waiting for? Get that Narma the Returned, recently reworked Knights Revenant Legendary, and also these three amazing epic champions for you: Ugo, Tagore, and my favorite, Deacon Armstrong at accounts level 15, 30, and 40. And don't forget to use the promo code Demon Slayer to get yourself Dolan Falbeard, amazing legendary dwarf DPS, absolutely free within the first 48 hours account. Use the promo code Demon Slayer. That's it for now, everyone, and I'll see you guys all on the next video. And if you like this video, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and you'll be greatly helping out the channel. Have a great day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.